Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another instrument cluster repair video. This is in a 2009 Land Rover Range Rover Sport. This is from California. Ricardo, this is your instrument cluster. His concerns is a 1-star tire pressure, open door, low coolant, engine light on. These are very common situations that happens with this instrument cluster when they fail, because they're part of the immobilizer system, and also when they go down, they take the communication buses down. And that is, the cluster is also in charge of door locks and some other things. So I have called this the gremlins, because it makes a whole lot of different things. And it's like acting in intermittent, sometimes it's more often. So usually, before I start a video, I try to plug in the cluster like you can see here to see if I can let it reproduce the concern, because sometimes it goes down, and I have multiple videos where this happens and I'm having a conversation with you and then all of a sudden it just goes down. So that's the reason I have it connected. Let me move you here so you can see the cluster has, or the vehicle has 124,657 miles. I have also the scanner connected, ready to go. I'm going to be using the Ultra. I want to show you the page that he sent. I obviously removed most of his information, so all you can see is where he's from, Santa Clarita, California. And then we can read the concerns that the bin with the 10 digit as a 9, that's a 2009, and all the concerns with his signature, so it's approved to be tested. All right, so and there we have, that is his instrument cluster connected. Looks pretty clean. All right, that's all the picture I have in there to share for now. All right, so let me put the Ultra here and trying to attempt to talk to it. So since we don't have nothing else connected here, so the only, or the best way to do it is to do manual connection. So I'm going to Europe. This is very unique to top down. Sorry, not top down, Autel Ultra. I usually use the top down for this, so that's what I said that. So let me look for the Land Rover. Yes, we're in European cars. Let's see, it should be coming. It's kind of weird that it's not in alphabetical order. I'm going to do it a standalone. I remember properly, I was able to communicate with no issues with this one as well. All right, we're going to do them to manual selection. And then, yes, a Range Rover Sport, 2005 to 2009. And it's, as far as I understand, this is a supercharged, but in here, it really doesn't matter for us, because we're not really going into the engine computer. We're just going into the actual instrument cluster, which is all we have connected in here. Let me just double check, make sure. Yes, naturally aspirated. So we're going to select naturally aspirated. We click OK. I'm just going back to bin to see the bin decoding. And if we enter the bin, it most likely will tell us in the Autel what this vehicle is. But we're doing a manual selection right now, trying to establish communication with anything that is connected to the scanner. Now the scanner is going to take a little longer. Why? Because there's nothing else connected, but that is completely normal. It's just attempting communication with anything. We'll see how that goes. I will probably say that by now the top down will probably already be inside the topology list, and that's one thing that I like about top down. Top down has not been as greedy as the Autel scanners or company that remove the topology when you're not in subscription. You see right here, it goes into the list. If I try to go into topology, it just kicks me out. You see it says topology data unavailable. Please check your network connection. I am connected to the network. It has absolutely nothing to do with the network. It's the greedy company removing functions from your scanner that it should be not removed. That's just a way to force us to pay for the subscription when you don't really need it. Yeah, I mean, give me a lifetime subscription and then I stay with that. But realistically, all these scanners are, not up to date, because you cannot work in a 2024, only the dealers. So not 2024, 2025, only the dealers. So why would you pay for a subscription that is giving you outdated information? Yes, you can work in 2022, some of them, but realistically, all these scanners are good for models of 2023 at the most and backwards. So yeah, 2023, that was 2 years ago. So yeah, well, 2 years ago, you were behind 2 years. So yeah, so you're always behind. But yeah, that's another topic that we can have a conversation later. All right, so we're going to into the IPC, as you can see here, number 4, instrument cluster module. We're going to go into ECU information to see if it reads the bin, which it should. And the last digit is 198.519. 198.519, so it's reading the correct bin. The rest I can really disregard. It says it has total distance of 200,570. Let me just make the calculation on that to see if this one is actually giving us the correct information, because we have 124,657. What am I doing? Let me just get a calculator, guys. Calculator. All you need to do is put the mileage, 124,657, and multiply by 1.6. That's the difference in between miles and kilometers. So 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers. So yeah, it is around 200,000 miles. It's 199,451. So that value that we have in there might be very close to the reality. Come on, I'm trying to click in. It's not going into what I need. Okay, finally. All right, so let's escape from here. Well, actually not escape. Let's go into active tests. What I usually do, this is, again, all I'm trying to do is to see if the module goes down. Right now, we got good communication. Sometimes I need to open these clusters because they don't react as normal, or not as normal, as quick as in the vehicle, because nothing else is connected, right? But so in active test, all I'm looking at for the sweep tests. It's a little hard to change that in here. All right, so we're going to go into the first tachometer. Tap down in here. Usually press cancel if monitor live data is not needed. So we're going to put that because I don't need to monitor anything. In the top down, when I'm trying to do this, it goes into 51%. Let's see what this one does. So we're going to go into, yes, it's doing the same thing. See, it's like 51%. That's an error on this aftermarket tools. Tap down and Autel are doing the same thing. So for some reason, when you are here, they give you 51% on the tachometer, or the RPM gauge, and that is no good. 51 will not affect anything, but it's not a perfect 50. But if I want to go into, like, let's say 100%, you see this one is going even. This is actually worse than the top down, because right now I'm in 127.5%. 140, 100, what is this numbers? This is a complete error. Why? Because there is no over 100%. What you're trying to do, make the needle go beyond and break, it would not happen, first of all. And if I go into 102%, it will not do it, because that's an implausible command. So in these ones, the maximum I can go is to 89.25%, which is, again, really weird. And let's go into mine, and let me go execute 30%. See, this is acting weird because the needle was not in the 0. So let me power this off, because right now the needle is not fully into 0. You see, it's staying into like 1 point something. Now it went to 0. That's just because of the power off. When the cluster is, the lever moves the needle, because obviously the handling of the packages, and the needle was not in the zero. So let's let's turn the ignition back on. Now we can see how the needle, I actually now hear the ding or dong, and it's working good. So that is also one concern that I need to keep an eye on it, because the last one that I repaired for another customer, that was one of his concerns, that the speaker wasn't working. But this one is working good. So let's go back to, I'm going to go back to like a 51%. Let's try to execute it. Yeah, I'm going to have to go out because we lost the communication since I turned this off. Got to go back and re-enter the cluster, go back to the active test. I'm trying to sweep the screen finally. Okay, let's go back to the same place where we were. Now we're going to go into 51% and execute. You see right now the 51% is a little over 4,000 RPMs, which is definitely, I'm going to try to put it into there so you can see that I lost the command. So it might be reacting now. Let me escape one more time. Let me see if it's just a timeout or it's actually losing the command. No, I think it's just time. It's not going to stay there forever. But we can see it's like a little over, 50%, which is 51%. That's exactly what we're doing. And it's now going into zero. So let's go into 89 or something percent. See if he does it. No, you see this is, and I think this is the scanner, because in the top down, I can stay there and it will go, to the maximum. That's what I was a little confused in one of the tests that I was doing onto another one, because this should let me, but this is a scanner. This is nothing to do with the cluster loses communication. This is just a scanner that is just doing one command at a time, because you see right now I'm able to do that. Then if I escape, it goes down to zero, but that's normal. Let's go to the field gauge. The field gauge is in zero, so we're going to start with the 50%, and in this one it should be 50% correct, and it is. All I'm also doing is analyzing where the needles are, and off camera what I usually do is I take a picture of all that, because the calibration of the needles is very unique to each instrument cluster. So I'm not going to just put a 50% onto a 50% because the way the needles are set are for each vehicle. All right, let's execute this. This one is actually pretty close to the 50%, so this is what I'll consider correct. I'm going to wait here. Yes, you see it dropped, so I'm going to have to come out, enter again, and I'm going to go into 100% because I want to make sure that the needle can go to full and they come back to zero softly. This is checking the separate motors. Yeah, went to full. We can see that. That's a small needle on the right. You might by now already see what I'm talking about. And let's wait for the needle to drop. And it did. Okay, so that is actually working good. Let's do the engine temperature. The engine temperature is already full, and that is because this is a thermistor, again, a temperature sensor, right? So when it's not connected, the gauge will go to full because that's the same reading that when it's, completely shorted out. So that is just, or not shorted out, sorry. So that is just correct. So let's go into minus or zero, and then let's execute and see that needle to go all the way to the bottom, and it did. Let's let it release to see the, the nice smooth coming back to full, or sorry, hot. And it did very nicely. So I'm going to have to exit and come back to do the 50% because that is a very important spot for me to see the calibration. Now we're going to go to 50. I'm just going a little faster to go to that 50%. Yeah, they're both, the fuel and the temperature, they're exactly the same height. So that's what I need to mark exactly. All right, we're going to escape this one. And we're going to the speedometer, which is the last of the gauges. We're going to go to 50%. Oops, sorry. 50%. Execute. And yeah, we can see that it's exactly at 12 o'clock. That is very good because I need to make sure that it's calibrated properly. Yeah, it is coming back very nice and smooth. I'm going to go to 100%. So I got to, again, get out and come back. And this one is only in this one. In the top down, I don't have to get out. I can keep going and up and down into any of positions that I want. And I want you to see this one. You see, I'm here. I'm going into 100%. There is no more plus. You see why? Because 100% is the maximum. There is no 120, no 140, or whatever is happening on the RPM or tachometer gauge. That is definitely a bad software reading onto these aftermarket tools. Let's go into execute the maximum. But we can see that happening. All right, let's get out and it's going back smooth to its normal position. So yeah, this one is not dying as I see in others, at least not here. But so what I'm going to do is open up the cluster. What I usually do, and this is again my approach to these repairs, is I apply a resin removal chemical into the microprocessor and memories. And then I start working on the needle side. I remove everything again, the face and the needles, and I start soldering the connector and all the resistors that are there. And I can show you a picture of how that looks. So give me just 1 second. Because I usually, don't show this on the videos just because I have done it so many times. And it's like, like I said, it's just a repetition. So I try to, keep it as simple as possible. But if you have not seen this, I should not show this one because it has all my information. You give me just 1 second. Trying to look for one that I can show you that does not show everything that I have done. Yeah, this one is actually a good one. All right, so let me just move you over to the screen. Let me take the Ultra out of the equation. And now here. All right, so that is right behind these needles and everything. That's how that looks, right? So that's what I do. I remove all the needles, and that's what I need to see because as you see, and this is very common, this is areas right here, right the connector is a lot of corrosion sometimes in there, and also a lot of these resistors, all those black letters. So you see here R307 and white letters. All those resistors, a lot of them, they are just they're held by one side and they have cracked solder joints, and that creates a lot of these issues. All right, off camera, I just move it in here. This is the other side of the board. This is where the microprocessor and the memories are. And so all these connections, what Land Rover has done in, trying to, make it last longer, which, it's okay, is they apply kind of like a resin. It's like a brown color. I don't know if it's by age they changed the color. You can see here how like all this is not covered, but all these areas, they have put this resin into covering all these plugs and connectors, and all that has to be removed in order to be resoldered. So that's what I apply a remover. Then in the meantime that I'm working on the front, all that remover is taking action because you need to let it sit for at least 15 minutes. Then you brush it out, clean it with, an ultrasonic, machine. And then I put them in the oven for, it's a heated oven that I have specifically for electronics. And then dry everything up. Apply, obviously alcohol to remove any water or any moisture that might be into any of the components, and then heat it up. And then I start working on this. So that's how these repairs are done. What is included in the repairs that I do is the resolder of the entire board, the replacement of the capacitors and diodes, main capacitors and diodes, and that's about it because that's the main problem with these clusters. And it takes care of everything. But yeah, it is a time-consuming repair. Sometimes, like in the last repair, I forgot the customer's name. That speaker that you see on the upper right corner, that black thing is a speaker that will do the dong or ding, and then also will make a sound when you're in the in the blinkers, right turn signal, left turn signal, or if you have an emergency blinkers, right, if you stop, that will do the tick 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 sound that you are always hearing. But yeah, that's what I do. All right, guys. So let me just get this one done, and I'll be right back where I will do the resetting of the needles and everything. If you're here in the channel, please subscribe to the channel. That really helped my small business a lot. Thank you so much if you do. That really helped me help my small business. That's how you got here, right? So by order subscribing, YouTube promotes more and more my videos, and at the end, that's how you find myself in here. It's for free. So if you do so, thank you so much. I really appreciate. If you have any instrument clusters or modules that you need to repair, automotive or marine, it's the same name. I'm actually going to put my website in the title of this video so you can copy and paste it. It's the same name of the channel, Mike Salazar Diagnostics. Yes, my name is spelled different, but it sounds Mike. SalazarDiagnostic.com. So it's pretty simple. If you visit in there, I put the address, my email, my telephone, everything is in there. Please contact me first before you send anything, and then we can just chat and make sure that you send all I need. I need to gather as much as information before you send the modules or instrument cluster. All right? All right, guys, I'll be right back. All right, guys, the repairs are done. So let me power the cluster back up. All right, let's reconnect the scanner. I'm most definitely going to have to resync because it was definitely off. If it connects immediately, let's read the ECU information one more time to make sure it is reading the cluster, and it did. So perfect, so all is good. Let's go once again to the test. And we're going to start in order the same way, with the tack first. Let's go to the 51%. All right, responding properly. Let's go over to the 100%. Well, in this case, remember we can now, so it's like 89 something. Looking good. A nice and smooth movement too. Fuel gauge, the one on the right side, center. Go to the 50% to make sure that we are indeed in the correct position. And we are nice and perfectly spot. Then we go over to the 100%. It's going to be just a test of the needles. This is a recalibration test. Yeah, nice and smooth and very quickly responds to as well. All right, engine temperature. I'm going to start in the 0 position. Just going to bring the needle down, and it's working good. Once again, let's go to 50%. Looking exactly where it's supposed to be. And the last but not least, the speedo. You can definitely see that in 12 o'clock exactly. And let's do the 100 for last test. Excellent. All right, so Ricardo, your instrument cluster is ready. Ricardo Corrales from California. Yes, it was a lot of these older resistors. I replaced all the normal components, and I found multiple of the legs in the microprocessor just completely separated. So this is very common because due to that resin, right? So they can make contact and they stop making contact. And that's exactly what I call the gremlins when they start to react like that, because it is electricity, right, going through. And then when they get, hot, they start losing the connection, or vibrations in the vehicle, right? So you open the door, you close the doors, you go to a bump, anything can happen with those. But right now it's fully repaired, and everything, as you saw in the test, is working 100%. So all the calibrations, I cleaned the cluster, is looking like brand new, and it's ready to be shipped back. All right, guys. So again, if you have any of these instrument clusters, this is without a doubt your best choice is to send it to me. Not only that I know what I'm doing, is that I really take care of everything that I work on. Like anyone that opens that cluster, it will think that it's factory. Obviously, exception for the resin being removed, but it looks like factory parts. Everything is top quality. So you are in the best hands. This is the best repairs. I have absolutely zero failures. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.